I'ma start going way on.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really...
But Toddy, you've had 3 promotions across 2 different countries. If you can achieve one thing in your career, what would it be?
This is when you're going to realise that my heights maybe are too high. I've always thought if you set your your ambitions and your heights to the very top, if you fall off, you're still in a good place.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I would love to play in the Champions League, love to play in the Champions League final, and naturally, anyone would love to play for their country, senior. So yeah, I think for me, I really genuinely want to try and get to the best level possible, and if I can't get there, hopefully I'll be in a good place.
What would you rather win, Champions League or Premier League?
Champions League, I think. Yeah, Champions League, 100%. Yeah.
Toddy, can you remember the first time you saw someone with a Cantwell 14 shirt on?
36.
Yeah, I was going to say, or it could have been the one before.
It would have been 36. Can I remember?
Cheers, mate.
No. Why is it him? Is that?
No. He's just throwing me on the bus. But can you remember the first time you saw a Cantwell shirt? Because that must be crazy.
Yeah, I do remember. It was when I came back from Sittard. So I actually remember a couple of 36 sales going up in Sittard as well. I remember the media guy telling me that they bought 36 a couple of times. So that was cool. But they never had your names on the back in Holland. I don't know why. They just had the numbers and the sponsors. But no, when we first came back, I can't actually remember. Nothing stands out in my head. I do actually think it's quite a surreal thing to think that someone's buying your shirt, because when I was a kid, or when you boys have someone you like watching, I know you boys obviously love football as well, you buy someone's shirt, you don't ever think that they would know you've bought the shirt, do you? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
I see you're quite active on Twitter, you'll often reply to people where they put a picture up in their Cantwell shirt. It must be crazy.
No, it is, definitely. I think...
Yes, people, just a quick one to say, make sure you stick around until the end of the video to see how you can be in with a chance of winning a pair of Toddy's match-worn boots. And if you haven't liked and subscribed the video already, then you're going to bring your team a season full of bad luck. So the choice is yours.
It's one of those parts of the game and parts of my life that just always makes me feel a bit surreal.
Sure.
I think it's always good to be in touch with stuff like that, to always make yourself remember that you were actually a nobody. 3 years ago, or do you know what I mean? There's so many people in the game that are achieving so much, until you sort of realise that people actually care about you, follow you, interested in you, buy your shirts. That's when you start to feel that's what I think support is. That's what a support is to someone, I think.
Yeah.
Pardon me in my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. Asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin, I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the key.
4 minutes.
6 hours, 4 minutes, yeah?
Pace. Covered some good distance. Tell you what, some good hills as well. Good hills.
So what's that? 75%? 80%? 90%?
I'd say I was running at about 75-70%.
Nice.
Which in the climax, a good go.
That's to help box the box, cover the pitch.
Exactly that.
Nice.
If it was easy, everyone would do it, eh?
Here he comes, look. Second person from BTB at the top.
So now, got some agility stuff to do.
So, I mean, you're obviously very comfortable sitting and talking in front of cameras now. Has that always been the case?
No, I was horrendous at the start. Absolutely horrendous.
Nervous?
No, I was absolutely horrendous at the start. Obviously Geordie knows me a lot better. I've not always been the best talker, the most academic, let's say. But I think it's something when you're speaking about something that you don't think about, to say anything other than what you actually feel or, you know, what you actually believe, it's easier to speak about it.
Or in your case, something that you're very passionate about.
Exactly. So for me, it's really easy now. But at the start, there was stutters everywhere. I remember the first signing I did, and I was shaking more than the person that handed me the autograph. And they didn't obviously realise, but I was literally shaking, going like this, signing it, thinking, is this going to look all right? Exactly. But no, yeah.
Throwing you under the bus nicely. I mean, we see lots of things on social media about ridiculous fines and stuff for players doing certain things. Firstly, who runs the fines? Is it club captain? And two, talk me. I mean, do you have a fine structure at Norwich? And if so, can you give any details about?
Yeah, the manager's really onto him as well. He likes the order. You know, the German saying is kind of, if you're on time, you're late. And I'm always on time, so I'm always late. No, I remember. Premier League season, I tallied up a real nice amount of late fines. Really? But the only one you don't want to be is late on a match day, because that's actually, the fine is the last part of your worries. Do you know what I mean? The manager is going to be on to you about that, because he would see that with how he is like disrespect to the game. Sure, I'm always there at least 20 minutes early for a match day, any traffic, anything like that. I had a near scare the other day actually for a game. Yeah. Luckily we have already been promoted, so I think you'd have took it easy on me. But we were going and I was sat at the traffic lights and I was thinking, that time is going so quickly. I'm sat there and luckily I got away with it. I think just because we had celebrations that evening is the only reason I got away with it. But I was very, very close. But no, yeah, I've racked up a healthy amount of fines. I think at Norwich, to be fair, from what I've seen from other clubs, is quite reasonable. Right. But I think in Championship, fines are different to a Premier League fine, and the fines like to get tallied up for either a Christmas do or for, you know, the staff or whatever to take. And
so what, straight out the wages, or does Grant come up to you and say?
Grant comes up to you and says,
I'll take you to the ATM machine.
And you absolutely crumble when he comes to you as well.
Yeah. I mean, the viewer's going to want to know a figure. So if you're late, roughly, how much is it?
I think late for a physio appointment in the morning is like £350. You normally have to be in for like 9 thingy. A match day is curtains. I think a match day is probably like 1,000 or 2,000. I should imagine. I've not. Like I say, I've never been it, so I don't know.
So if you see Toddy sprinting on a match day before the game, do not ask him for anything.
No, leave me alone. And just standard bits, like if you leave a hoodie out or not a hoodie, sorry, like a jump out on the pitch or something, that's just a young 100. So you just have to suck them up. And when you're doing sprints and stuff like that, and then you've had a stinking session, you just want to get indoors, and then someone goes, "Number 14, please," and yeah, you're in trouble.
Now, got some agility stuff to do. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game.
So yeah, that was a little agility drill to finish. Obviously, it's important you do the agility stuff as well. It's not all about long distance. Have to change your feet, change direction all the time, especially in the Premier League, with people dropping their shoulders all the time.
Toddy, you've played in some amazing stadiums. What's the most atmospheric ground you've played in?
Do you know what? Just off actual memory, and you're going to love this one. It's the new Spurs stadium.
Of course it is. It's the best stadium in the world.
I mean, honestly, like, obviously it was an FA Cup game. I can't remember exactly what round it was. I think it was the round before quarters, right? Remember, obviously, being in such an amazing stadium, it actually felt like a performance rather than a football game. Like, you're walking in, and it is blow your mind. You can't, you know, whenever you're a kid and you play, you know, at the field, and then you could never, ever, ever imagine walking into that stadium thinking, I'm now about to play in front of these people. Yeah. I remember warming up, and it felt like, you know, there was a live performance going to come on before the game, like literally, because the music was blaring. Everyone was happy. Everyone was
night game, wasn't it?
Night game. It's goosebumps when you think about it, and then to think that we actually turned them over. No, but yeah,
must felt good rapping one stanch and shushing him though.
Yeah, that was actually what it was all about. And no one ever realised it was actually shushing him because he was recording it.
It's me, mate, Todd. Todd, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me, Todd. Todd, don't do it. Don't do it, Todd. Don't do it, Todd.
thanks, mates. But yeah, on that, where do you find the kahunas to do the kick-ups before the penno?
It's a great question, and it honestly wasn't rehearsed at all. Tim was getting in people's heads, and he had been on to, I can't remember the young lad for Spurs. Yes, yeah, and he was in his ear at the end of the game saying, you know, you don't want to take a penalty. And in my head, I just thought, a couple of these have looked nervous, and I thought, if I go up there and just do a couple of imagine if I'd have dropped the ball. Imagine if I dropped the ball. But no, do you know what it was? I'd had a good game. I was really, really in the game, so engrossed in the game. I thought a couple of keepy-ups here will just relax me, relax the ref. I actually joked with the ref and said, it's been a while since I've took one of these. And he went, you'll be all right. Stanched it and then shushed you.
So there's lots of talk about VAR. For you personally, what is one thing you could change about future football if you had the power to?
I must admit, I enjoyed the traditional game of football. I used to like mistakes from referees and stuff. It just give it more of a natural, edgy feeling in games. The thing that I find really difficult with VAR now is I hate the fact that you can score a goal and not celebrate it until a minute later. That's just not...
Feels like it's drawing the passion out of the game, doesn't it?
I don't feel like that's the football that everyone loves. I mean, I don't like it. I remember a goal last season before at Crystal Palace at home, massive game, scored a goal, celebrated half-heartedly, and then had to wait 2 minutes to find out if I was onside.
I remember me, Mum, Amber, we didn't even celebrate it ourselves. I was like, that's VAR.
Exactly, and there was also a goal which we scored against Tottenham, which Timo Pukki was an armpit hair offside.
Offside, that one. Clearly offside.
But no, I mean, we would have been 3-1 up and probably got another 3 points. You know, all these things make such a big difference. And yeah, it's very factual in the sense of, look, you're either onside or offside. But I think there has to be a lenience, and I think that's something that needs to be adapted from my side personally.
It makes you think that the sort of the human error aspect of the game was actually what made it so beautiful. And
Well, it's about raw passion, isn't it?
Yeah.
To travel hours to go for a game for that 30-second moment where it's just carnage.
Yeah. Toddy, I regularly have people tell me I'd have made it if I had a better diet. Talk me through it. Are you allowed a cheat meal once a week, or is it really strict?
No, I think it's something that you have to take responsibility on yourself. We obviously have fantastic chefs. You know, everyone knows that. You know, clubs all have top chefs and top food. But obviously, like I say, the chefs will help and stuff like that. But I don't think McDonald's was your only problem, Bash. I'll be honest. I've seen your touch.
You've seen my touch.
So, with the thought of, you know, Premier League being on the cusp again for the second time around, is there any point in your career so far where you thought, this is it, I've made it?
That's a good question.
Because there's one I've always wondered. Like, does a player ever think?
Are you always looking for the next thing?
Yeah, I think I am, you know. I think that's a really good question, because I don't think I actually have thought at any point I've made it. But I kind of am aware of the position I'm in. Sure. I think, like, you just said it perfectly then. Like, you're just looking for next. And I don't think that's a bad thing when you're trying to achieve your best. And, you know, when you're in different aspects of life, you know, it's not always good to be looking for the next best thing. But when you're in a career, like you boys know, when you're in a career, you have to go for the next best thing. So, no, the honest answer is probably no, I haven't.
And we put out some questions on our Instagram. If you're not following it already, go out and follow us. But a lot of people are asking for best bit of advice you could give them. Short and snappy, what is the best advice you could give?
Don't watch your videos.
Nice. Right, thanks.
I'm joking. No, the best bit of advice would be, I think, it's something like we've obviously spoken about before you launched, you know, the channel, which is, you know, you have to believe in something. You know, you'll never be given anything in life. You have to work at it. You have to put stuff towards it. And I genuinely do believe that if you think and you strive for the top, and you get there, mission accomplished. And if you don't, you're pretty close behind it. So, you know, never set your heights too low, and just make sure that you can always look yourself in the mirror. I think that's the most important one, because ultimately, you know, when people say, "Oh, could you have done more? Could you have done this?" It's yourself you have to answer to. You know, at the end of the day, it is yourself. And if you look at yourselves and say, "I've done everything I can do, and I just didn't make it," you'll be fine with yourselves. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's in a football aspect as well. You're up against so many people. If you give everything you've got and it's not enough, you can respect that and you can understand it. But I think if you give everything you've got, you'll always be successful no matter what you do.
I think it always boils down to that message, doesn't it? You know, live life with no regrets. Yeah. And I think football's probably a classic example, or, you know, epitomises that example. So. just lastly, before we tie it up then, Bash, can you shush? Right.
Nice.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Right.
A young sweat? Right, that's boiling.
Yeah, my back
That's really hot.
soak.
Thanks for watching, guys. We have another competition for you. This week we have 1 pair of match-worn signed Todd Cantwell boots, and we have 2 signed Todd Is Premier League shirts. For 1 entry, simply like and comment on this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and for the other 2 entries, see the description box below.